We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 412. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, as always, the one and only OG Undisputed Scholar himself, the one and only Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how are you doing this evening?
You forgot to add something to my little introduction. Your current reigning Hefe Dome champion, Undisputed Scholar Tarek.
You mean the title that you vacated like 10 seconds after?
10 seconds? No, I vacate it whenever I want to vacate it.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up.
Oh, I'll don't worry. I'll vacate it at WrestleMania. Just to let everyone else just be like, all right, vacant is the Hefe Dome champion. Let's beat him.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if there's a watch party for any of the AEW shows or anything at all before WrestleMania, guess what? That thing is going to have to be defended or vacated.
Well, the next viewing party, it will be vacated. But until then, I'm just going to keep milking this just because for the fans who don't know what we're talking about, but every watch party, we all do a little, well, Jeff, Charlie, Scholar Jeremy, who is not here, unfortunately, and his lovely wife, Clarissa, all battle in video games for the Hefe Dome Championship. After
and then this
Scholar Jeff
ball shows up, plays one game of Super Smash Brothers, and takes the belt away.
Oh, not just takes the belt away from our little intro man of the Scholars of Wrestling, Scholar Jeff, who just won it and just for the fun of it decided, hey, let's do one game of Smash and I'm going to put the title on the line. Me being an ultimate opportunist, I am, just be like, you know what? I'll throw my name down because I have a history of just showing up in Super Smash Brothers and just winning. So I'm like, let's put this to the test. And much to everyone getting so upset, the fact that I'm just not going to defend that championship, I just went in, took it from you, and just milked it. Being the one scholar. Oh no, you're going to love this. Another thing to add to the glorious of the Undisputed Scholar Tarek.
The next watch Undisputed party is going to be tomorrow. Yeah, just put it out there.
Being the only scholar to win those three belts, the championship, the party championship, and now the Hefe Dome championship.
Oh, please. There's a reason that the people are only hearing about this title now. But moving right along, we also have joining us this week another OG Undisputed, not the OG Undisputed Scholar, but an Undisputed Scholar all the same. He is Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, how's everything going on your end?
Oh, I'm just listening in to what went on last weekend. So, Scholar Tarek, what you're basically saying to me right now is you did to Scholar Jeff basically what I did to Scholar Charlie the first time he won the Undisputed.
He won the Scholars Championship? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Jeff held his title for 10 minutes. Charlie held his for 10 minutes. Once again, we are on the same wavelength.
Of course. Oh, no, I got to do... Charlie may have had the championship for 10 minutes. Jeff barely had it for 3.
Hey, because I'm a generous and benevolent champion. When I've got the title, I don't hold on to it like Gollum most of the time. I give out opportunities because I'm generous like that. And speaking of generosity,
hey, at least it ended with the final two were you and me. And you were a champion. You were a fighting champion to the end.
Hey, I'll take the credit. But speaking of champions, last but certainly not least, joining us this week is the new Scholars of Wrestling champion and current holder of the Scholars in the Bank briefcase,
Which
He is
Scholar
the
Tarek
now
told me.
impenetrable Scholar
it's not harsh.
Charlie. Scholar
Which
Charlie,
Charlie, glow to head.
Which Scholar Tarek told me I was the second scholar to ever hold the briefcase and the championship simultaneously.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It is a good
Just
feeling.
knowing you could possibly lose the belt, but just get right back whenever you
Yep.
can.
At least
good
until the
feeling.
next Money in the
Remembers.
Bank.
If he remembers.
If I remember.
That too.
Oh, please. Now everyone's going to
5
be
in a row.
watching the title situation like a hawk. But
Well, that's
speaking of the
plan,
title
isn't it?
situation,
Well, I do that anyway. So
even more so. But speaking of title situations, the title path has been carved for WWE at least, because the Royal Rumble 2023 has come and gone. And oh boy,
WrestleMania
there's a lot to
begins.
talk about. So
The road
let's
to
dive
WrestleMania
right in.
begins.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
dive right in. Let's talk about the 2023 Royal Rumble, kicking things off with the men's Royal Rumble match. Doing things a little bit differently this year, but to great effect. We, of course, got Cody Rhodes coming in at number 30 and not having the easiest time running into the Iron Man of the men's match, Gunther. And the ending of the Rumble match was a match in and of itself, and it was glorious.
Bobby Roode wasn't in the match. What are you talking about?
It was glorious in the original intended meaning, and you know it as a newly crowned Gunther superfan. Come on, you have to admit, this match, especially towards the end, was excellent.
The entire match was excellent. The entire match was... You go first, Brian.
I'll say this because I'm not really on the same wavelength as you here. This match will be remembered for three things. Okay, it will be remembered because of the winner, as it should. I don't like that Cody came in at number 30.
No.
I'll put it like that. I think that was weak sauce, basically. Like, I'm not saying put him in at like number 3 or put him in at the high like 18s, early 20s. Coming in at 30, that's just I understand he's just coming back from injury, but that's still too easy for me. But it'll be remembered for Gunther and his, what was it, 72 minutes?
Let's
1
see.
hour, 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 10
yes.
seconds.
There you go. Thank you.
And it'll be remembered for that insane Logan Paul Ricochet shot move. Other than that, I'm like, this is basically what I'm going to say for the entire show. It's like the wrestling was fair to good. Everything had its moments, but what we really give a damn about is the ending of the match. The ending of the match was fantastic. I will give it that. The Cody Rhodes versus Gunther at the end, amazing. That was last time I was that invested in an ending to a Royal Rumble match was when Jericho and Sheamus went for 7 minutes in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like everything before that, for me, it was fine. It was good. It was definitely better than last year, even though that's a very low bar to set. But I'm not on the same wavelength. Like it was fantastic. It was a great Rumble. I'm not gonna go that far. It was good. It was enjoyable. But there's not a lot coming out of this Rumble that I'm gonna remember it for.
Charlie?
I had a blast with this as the opener. I thought it was a great Rumble. Again, last year's set the bar extremely low, but it was. It might have been the atmosphere. Who knows? But I had a great time. Nobody expected this to be the opening match, and I thought it was a blast.
And that, I think, is one of the more distinct features of this particular Royal Rumble. I don't, like you mentioned, nobody in, at least in the group that we were watching with, seemed to expect that this of all matches was going to open the show. I think we all thought it was going to close it. But after we saw the way things developed over the course of the night, the match's positioning made a lot more sense as we went on, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured once this match started, the show, that Reigns versus Owens would end it, and we'd get exactly what we got. I'm like, it was either this was going to close the show for me beforehand, or it was going to open it. There was no other. There was nothing else that it could have been. The women's Royal Rumble was not going to close the show. It wasn't going to happen. It was either going to be Cody winning the Rumble, or it was going to be Reigns versus Owens with the Sammy aftermath. And once this happened, I knew how the show was going to end, and I'm not going to say that I was surprised or shocked, because I wasn't. I figured it was either going to open or it was going to close.
Yeah,
and once it opens,
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, okay, this is where we're going.
Yeah, and speaking of matches that give you the result you're expecting, but still does in a satisfying way, we got over to yet another predictable match outcome, which was
Hold on.
really all of them for the most part. Yes, Brian.
Hold on. Tarek, what did you think about the Rumble?
I liked the Rumble. I liked the Rumble a lot. Even before earlier this week, I actually decided to sit down and rewatch the match. And as Brian said, it makes knowing what the angle is going to be, it actually made perfect sense that this match was going to open it. And for me, watching it again, it was a very, very star-packed Rumble. There were no I'm not using that word that Alvarez uses, or most people use. I'm just going to say there weren't any jobbers. There were not people who were on the low card. Everyone was mid-card, top mid-card, main eventer. It was a very packed Royal Rumble, and everyone did their part very well. And the highlight for me, and it was something that I even said when we were all watching it, was when I was surprised that Gunther was number one, but I was also happy because I just go, well, there's going to be the Iron Man in this match. And when I was exactly right, destroying Rey Mysterio's record. I'm like, give it 10 more minutes and he would have broken Danielson's hour and 18 greatest Royal Rumble record. But yeah, I was very into this match. I loved the highlights that Brock Lesnar only being in for 3 minutes. I think the Brock Lesnar temper tantrum is something that's also going to be remembered, because it's reported that he improvised some of the things he did, from throwing the top of the announce table in the ring, throwing the stairs on the announce table, and dumping that referee into the audience. All those apparently were improvised by him, which actually got him in trouble. But shit. It's Brock Lesnar. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
because
Brock
apparently
Lesnar's
it was
untouchable at this point.
Apparently the referee that he threw over the barricade and actually got hurt a little bit was supposed to be the ref to raise Cody Rhodes' arm at the end of the match.
Oh, wow.
But because of that whole angle, they actually had to work their way around it. But I loved everything. And as everyone said, it was a very low bar last year, but yes, compared to last year's, I mean, but yeah, they took that bar and basically flew thousands of feet in the air over this one. I was just super into it. The men's Rumble match was a big highlight for me on this show. Now we can move on.
Okay. I guess that coffee is losing its potency.
So okay, my opinion doesn't matter.
Right through. No. What doesn't matter is my attention span. I need to drink more coffee. The next time you see me, I'm gonna be all javaed up. Speaking of all javaed up, we are going to the next match on the card. Bray Wyatt defeating LA Knight, much like we all thought we would, but did we see it coming in this fashion? I, for one, did not. What do you make of this one?
A lot of people are bagging on this match. Typical, let's just criticize everything Bray Wyatt when it comes to being him in the ring. This match was a low point on the show, but I don't think it's really as bad as people are trying to make it out to be.
No.
It's surprising how many people are actually really like not even just criticizing, really making fun of this whole thing. I actually like the idea of having a match with a black light on it. I thought it was actually very creative and something I don't think we've ever seen before. At least not on something on this level.
Yeah, it seems
maybe like an independent show or something.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know that off the top of my head. But it is a very, very very rare idea, and I actually really dug the idea. And everyone making fun of Uncle Howdy jumping off the thing and completely missing LA Knight at the end. Unfortunate, really. I actually saw the fan video of how much Uncle Howdy actually missed LA Knight, and now it's like very much so, actually. But I don't care. I actually really I like the idea. I like the look of Bray after the match with the new mask, and he was basically looking like Bane. That was my immediate thought when I just, oh, you think darkness is your ally. But I like the paint that he had that basically was like he was slowly transforming into a monster. I like the story. It was definitely more of an angle than a match, because what was the match, like 7 minutes? Not even. Well, maybe 7-10 minutes. It wasn't long. I think that's another thing that really hurt it, because it's just the criticisms that most people have. Oh, Bray Wyatt, he does great character building, world building, angle building, but once that bell rings, it's a completely different story. And making this match relatively short, it doesn't help. But it may have been like the lowest of the matches on this card, but it didn't take away of me being entertained by it. It may be a Bray Wyatt bias, sure, but I found myself really entertained. The crowd, for the most part, found themselves entertained, except for that last bit of Uncle Howdy completely missing. But all in all, I actually found myself entertained by it.
Yeah, to your point of being a little biased when it comes to Bray Wyatt, I dare say most fans at this point are absolutely biased towards Bray Wyatt in one sense or another. Like I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm just glad it didn't overstay its welcome. But at this point, most of the most outspoken Bray Wyatt fans or detractors, whoever have you, if it went any longer, people would have said, oh, it dragged, it went on for too long, blah, blah, blah. If it went on for any shorter, they were going to say, oh, it's way too short, blah, blah, blah. For what it was, I thought it was interesting. Like you said, was it a perfect match? Absolutely not. However, you don't go to a Bray Wyatt match to see a completely perfect, flawless match. You go for the spectacle, go for the character stuff, you go for the ups and downs and all the craziness in between. And I, for one, I think there's a lot more that they can build on and continue to build on between the Uncle Howdy dive, the life-size Firefly Funhouse characters still being active. What does the makeup mean? What does the new mask mean? What else is processing? What else is going on? That's the kind of stuff that I believe Bray does really well. I do enjoy his matches when they're booked properly, of course. Of course, we know the Fiend the lows have been very low, but the highs have been very, very high. And I'm come to accept that from Bray Wyatt at this point. And I think we're only going to get better things over time with this new creative administration. But enough for me for a while. Brian, Charlie, whoever wants to jump in first, what did you think of this one?
This is going like a lot of the show. It's going to sound like I'm ragging on everything because I'm going to be completely honest with everything. I don't think the in-ring work at Royal Rumble was as high as it's been for WWE in recent memory. I don't think we got the best out of everybody that we could have gotten at the Royal Rumble, but it goes the same with this match as it will for the entire card. I liked the out of ring stuff more than the in ring stuff. I like the idea of the match. I like the black light. They could get rid of the sponsorships on the apron and all that. I don't need to see Mountain Dew plastered everywhere during a match that's supposed to be freaky.
Sorry, Brian, I got some bad news for you on that one.
Well, I know the reasons why it's there, but I'm like, I don't need it.
No, we're gonna get more of them.
Oh yay!
But there's gonna the report is they're gonna do a match at WrestleMania with Cinnamon Toast Crunch as the. Nope, I'm not joking. The only way I want that to work is if New Day is in the match.
Hey, to be fair, and I'm going to talk more about this. Not all of the crossover promotional stuff has been a wash. Some of it has landed incredibly well. But
it's
But they're going to do a lot more.
And yeah, I shook my head and went, "Oh no!" Even when he was in the air, Uncle Howdy was way off. He hadn't even landed yet, and you knew he wasn't there, and he went too far.
You think it may have been from the black light that kind of just drew, or maybe just LA Knight was positioned wrong in the wrong spot?
Be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because it's hard to judge in the black light. So, the match itself, I'm not gonna lie, I was bored. I wasn't really into it. They did the best with what they could do, but they weren't given much. And that's fine and all, but as I said, as with most things tonight, not impressed with the in-ring work, but everything outside of it, I was in on. I was in on the story part, but the in-ring left a lot to be desired. Charlie, what you got?
Color me biased. It was Bray Wyatt, so I had fun. But Brian makes a good point that the outside work was a lot more entertaining than what happened in the ring.
I think that's just come as a normal thing now when it comes to Bray Wyatt, because he's definitely more storyteller.
Oh yeah.
Than wrestler. I think that's the one thing that people are just the big critics on him are just the hardcore professional wrestling fans who are really attack him on. It's just when it comes to just the professional wrestling work, that's where they're the most critical and just like, oh, we don't want the spooky nonsense. We want just the professional wrestling. Yet it just now makes me really question on how things would be if social media was around in the early 90s when Undertaker came in. Would they have been more, no, we don't want the spooky nonsense? Or was it just at the times like, because they were all cartoon characters, oh, we love the spooky nonsense and the superheroes and the ultimate warriors and the shaking of the ropes and the whatever, the Hulk Hogan.
Would you believe I actually
show.
have an answer to that?
Shoot,
Because
I want to hear it.
Because in the early days of the internet, before it became like in the pre-AOL days, I believe, someone actually dug up some old like Usenet forum posts from like the Attitude Era, and people were saying the same exact thing that people are saying now. There's always detractors, there's always haters, there's always people going like, oh, check out this obscure person, like this person doesn't need a push, this is bullshit, blah 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 blah, this person can't work, this person sucks. The more things change, the more they stay the same. If I find a link to like whatever forum post, I think someone referenced in a Reddit or something.
Yeah, I would love to read that.
But it is absolutely out there, and it's a wild read. But outside of that,
I think the only disappointing thing about this was just there was no real follow-up on SmackDown. It was just Bray Wyatt sitting in the chair and Uncle Howdy touching his shoulder. Jump scare to Bagul jump scare in front of the camera. And that was it. I was like, really?
maybe you just had the week off. I don't know.
I just wasn't a fan of that. But
yeah. But again, if the only thing is just you want more of it, then I think that speaks to the strength of what else they're trying to do with this.
Absolutely.
Hey, it at least seems to be a little bit more than what we got with Bianca Belair beating Alexa Bliss. The match itself, this one sort of fell flat for me, given my level of expectation. And then we only got like a 30-second video, if that, from Uncle Howdy to Alexa after the match.
Which was something that was already on the weekly television show. So
nothing new here.
Yeah, this was legitimately a case of this didn't need to be here. We could have had this on a Raw and it would have been fine.
Yeah,
but it's on a pay-per-view, so now you're gonna get extra criticism because it was legitimately a match that was just there. It was fine at best, and it's like there was no screw ups or anything like that. But it's like when you're trying to build up Bianca Belair for a WrestleMania opponent, whoever that may be now. I thought it was going to be Rhea, but we all know how that turned out.
I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling who it's going to be.
I actually don't. I don't have a bad feeling about who it's going to be because I think they're building up someone who came back technically in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
In the Women's Royal Rumble. But it's this was a case of a match being on a pay-per-view that didn't need to be on a pay-per-view, and it showed why it didn't need to be on a pay-per-view.
Hey, I got Alexa Bliss on the screen. That's more than enough for me.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful.
And that's fine, but we could have had a backstage segment of Uncle Howdy being Uncle Howdy and her being her instead of a match that really went nowhere and did nothing for anybody.
As much as I agree with you, it just puts a big smile on my face seeing her on TV.
She's not spooky enough. Needs to be spookier. Goth chicks.
Yes. All agreed on that one.
Hello, nurse. Oh, but we already got one. We already got one attractive goth chick. I don't know if the world can handle another one.
One?
Rhea Ripley.
Clearly, someone hasn't been watching NXT lately.
Main
Or
roster.
SmackDown.
Main roster.
Shotzi.
Does she count as a goth? No, I don't. She's too colorful. She has too. I don't put
And
green.
she rides around on a tank. How can you be goth when you ride around on a tank? You know?
Okay, NXT, Isla Dawn. You know she's gonna get called up sooner rather than later.
But I'm talking about right now, fool. We already got one awesome goth chick on the main roster, who also is now the Iron Woman.
The Iron Woman and the current winner of the Women's Royal Rumble. That
Fourth person to win at number 1.
and what the hell kind of segue was that?
I'm
Speaking of goth chicks, here's your winner.
I mean, is it wrong?
It's not wrong.
It is not wrong.
I'm sure someone who's listening to this somewhere is gonna be like, actually, she's like alternative or something. Like, I don't. Some people
There's
have
always
this
that
kind of
one.
classification down.
There's
with
always gonna
science.
be
It's
that
kind
one.
of scary.
That was good.
Yeah, but either way, no matter how you slice it, I was very pleased by this Women's Royal Rumble. Definitely a major upgrade over last year, and a highlight for me personally. We got Asuka back, and we got scary Asuka with really rad new music. That was a highlight for me for sure.
Yeah, we got. I guess the character that she played in Japan. I guess Kana.
Anna, yep.
That's she came out in that, and I'm telling you, I think it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Kana.
Yep. I hate to agree with my rival, but I agree with my rival.
I'm like,
that's what I want.
If you're bringing that back, if you're bringing that up and back, okay, you don't bring that back if you don't have a reason for it.
I really hope you're right. I really want you to be right, because I have a bad feeling it's going to be Raquel.
Yeah,
too soon for Raquel.
Big
whole thing.
She faced Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title. It's not too soon.
But the whole thing.
They're very high on her. So
yeah, but I don't think, because I think the way it looks, okay, Asuka was in the final 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Raquel was the 4, but I just think there's more money.
I hope trust me. I really want you to be right. I really do, because Raquel is just so goddamn boring.
And
no matter how much
Asuka's already on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know who me and Brian are picking for Elimination Chamber.
So
I'm most likely going to pick it with you. Because that's going to be a heart thing. Because I don't want the WrestleMania build as who has the better muscular back.
If that's the build of a WrestleMania match, then the match is going to clearly be between Raquel Rodriguez and Lacey Evans. Thank you.
Oh boy,
there you go.
Well done. It makes more sense than that does.
We've had feuds worse. So
for the Royal
it's
Rumble
possible.
itself, as for the Royal Rumble itself, once again, enjoyable. It was fun. I have a hard time with most women's Royal Rumbles getting into them. I'm not sure what the reason is. It's not what it's, but it's when Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley came out 1 and 2. I was like, well, that's your final 2 right there. I knew right from the jump how it was gonna go down.
I laughed out loud. The whole Liv Morgan's whole thing is to try and be number 1, and they decide not to give it to her. You'll just have number 2 instead.
Yeah,
because why not?
just for a split second, I was just like, okay, Rhea might not win this thing, and then I was like, what am I talking about? Who else could possibly win this thing?
It really did. It really was the toss between the final. It was the final three were the best options.
Yeah,
for possible winners,
and
not Nia Jax.
Yeah, and it just couldn't.
Not Nia Jax.
Once again, 100 times better than last year.
Yeah,
whatever the hell that was. But like that Royal Rumble almost put me off of women's Royal Rumbles forever. that particular Royal Rumble, that particular women's Royal Rumble, at the end of it, I was just like, I don't think I need any more of these.
Not this one.
But
this one had a lot of surprises.
But I'm like, this one was good, and it actually might be more memorable for me than the men's one, if I'm being completely honest with myself. And Rhea Ripley just if she wasn't a star before, this was a star-making performance.
Oh, absolutely.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
And do I agree with her choice in pick in who she wants to face? No, I still think that Rhea versus Bianca would have been a better WrestleMania match, but I also understand that Rhea needs to get her win against Charlotte on the main stage. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna shit on this like everybody on the internet is. I'm gonna be like, I understand it. I understand the meaning and what they're going for here. I just would have rather had the other one.
I just have to point out, I laughed out loud when watching SmackDown tonight, and when they were doing the video package of Rhea Ripley choosing Charlotte and her explaining why in their last WrestleMania match, and they don't show the match because it was during the pandemic, during the what did the name that they give it?
Thunderdome.
When it was
Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome. They are trying their damnedest to not show any footage of the Thunderdome era. But to be fair, it's completely understandable why, but at least there still was good wrestling on that during that time.
Yeah.
So it's understandable why they don't want to really bring it up, but it's also kind of a shame because they may be referencing it, but we're just never going to see it again on WWE television.
At least infrequently. But speaking of things that we will see more frequently on WWE television and their premium live events, we did have a couple of very interesting surprises during this match. And I'm not going to mention Nia Jax because that was not an interesting surprise. What I am referring to is the return of Piper Niven as Piper Niven. No Doudrop involved. That was tremendous.
Thank God.
And if we're going to see more cross promotion and that kind of thing in the middle of matches, I'm glad it's for this kind of thing that we saw in the Women's Royal Rumble of Zelina Vega dressing up as Juri from Street Fighter 6 as a cross promotion with Capcom. That just warms my little Hefe Dome heart right here.
But also the thing about that is it's a cross promotion with Capcom because Zelina Vega is going to be the voice announcer.
Yeah, damn right she is. Which was even cooler. Like,
yeah. So
that was so cool. Again, for me, I don't know how often I'm going to use this feature on Street Fighter 6, but if Zelina's in there, I might actually use it for once. It seems like
she has the voice for it.
And my one thought when Piper Niven came out and they were calling her Piper Niven and the faceplate came on, with Piper Niven. I'm like, okay, so Pete Dunne still has a chance.
Truth be told, I like the way that how they're doing all these name changes. They're doing it gradually, so the fans are able to warm back up to it again, and it's not just like a change that makes no sense.
Hey, I can't wait for Piper Niven to win the 4-way and get in the elimination chamber. Yeah.
That will indeed be fun. And honestly, with all these returns and freshening up of all these gimmicks, I'm actually looking forward to the build as much as the final matches at Elimination Chamber. I really am.
Because talking about what we were talking about before, if Piper Niven gets in that thing, I think she and Raquel take each other out.
Interesting.
Piper Niven, Raquel Rodriguez, basically the same kind of body type. You can have a feud there.
I see Raquel basically just showing off her muscles to take her out. Muscles.
Well, either way,
Mahogany.
That's another WrestleMania match ready to go. But before we get there, we still have the fallout of the main event to deal with. We are, of course, talking about Roman Reigns defeating Kevin Owens, but it's what happened after the match that has everybody talking. It's a moment we all wanted, where Sami Zayn stands up to Roman Reigns, and this, out of everyone who is tired after a long day of wrestling, now it all made sense why they closed out the show with this, because after this, ain't nobody beating this.
Yeah, this for me. Okay, the match was good. Well, of course it was going to be good. It's Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. It was going to be good, but let's face it, nobody gave a damn about what was going on inside the ring. Okay, this whole thing was about Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
It was always going to be about Sami Zayn. And what you were watching, yeah, there's stuff going on in the ring, but what's Sami Zayn doing? That's basically what you were doing. And let me say this, and I'm not speaking in hyperbole or anything like this. This might be the best storyline in WWE that I personally have ever witnessed live. The best one. The best one I've ever seen. Okay, there's stuff like in the 80s that might be better, but I haven't seen it live because I was like 2.
You know what? I've heard that descriptor thrown around a lot, especially after last Saturday. But you know what? After thinking about it, it was so strong. I actually believe it. I will take that at face value. And so because of that, I actually have a Scholar's Quick Talk for all of you. We all know how things are taking shape at WrestleMania now. But given that this is the hottest storyline going into in WWE or even wrestling at this point, should this change WrestleMania at all? The gauntlet was already laid for the Elimination Chamber, but the amount of heat on Roman and Sami and all of this surrounding storyline, I don't know. This is seeming like the Daniel Bryan moment to me.
No.
Am I wrong?
Hold on. No, because what's going to happen at Elimination Chamber is going to change the entire complexion of the story, and it's going to turn because Jey Uso. Okay, Sami Zayn is going to might as well just have the prediction show right now because I'm gonna do it. Sami Zayn is going to lose because of Jey Uso. This storyline, okay, Roman Reigns is not the main character. Roman Reigns is not the main character. This was always meant to set up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. It was always going to be, because they all have to lose their titles at WrestleMania. All of them. The Usos and Roman Reigns. Okay. And after what happens at Elimination Chamber, the fans are going to want Sami Zayn to get his revenge on Jey Uso. They don't get, this is why they're playing it up so hard right now, because they're trying to get sympathy for Jey Uso so that when he turns in Montreal in front of that crowd, in front of Sammy's home crowd, when he screws him out of his rightful WWE Championship win in his hometown, that's going to overtake everything that's going on with Roman Reigns right now.
I've heard that before. I'm not so sure I believe it. I'm really going to have to see how this executes when I see it.
Well, either way, no, you don't change what you're doing.
They're not. Yeah, they're the answer to the scholars quick talk. They're not going to. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Brian. They're not going to change it.
You don't change because it works out in the end either way.
This year better change, because I'm agreeing with Brian too much.
The thing is with this one, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the men's Royal Rumble. Something Brian mentioned in that he was upset that Cody Rhodes entered at number 30. The way most people talked about it, myself included, is that I actually think it was actually a smart idea to put Cody in as number 30 to get the idea that Sammy is going to be in this Rumble out of people's minds. Once the people realize Sammy is not going to be in this match and Cody is coming in at number 30, it took away the thought of the crowd, or the potential of the crowd turning on the match, because we don't get a Daniel Bryan moment over again. Oh, it's not Cody Rhodes. He's not being Rey Mysterio coming out at number 30, and everyone's just like, oh, well, boo, screw this match. We're turning against that garbage. No, we want Daniel Bryan. And what they did on Raw was putting Cody center stage as the winner of the Royal Rumble. Now, Cody Rhodes is the star of Raw. That's something that Raw actually needed. Was a huge name, and it looks like they're really pushing hard on having Cody be that huge name for at least the face of Raw. And they're trying so hard to push him as such a big star now. Even on SmackDown, they was like, you have Roman Reigns come out going, oh yeah, I was going to talk about Cody Rhodes. Granted, I was thinking, that may not be the smartest idea because the crowd is chanting for Sami Zayn. It's like, but you don't want me to talk about Cody? I'm like, that's not the smartest idea to to lose fans from Cody. I'm like, that's not a smart idea. But they're trying their damnedest to push Cody versus Roman. That the idea of Sammy, that they're giving Sammy Montreal for Elimination Chamber, and honestly,
they were always going to do that. They were always
the idea is the tag titles. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I'm gonna one step you, Brian. I actually think they're gonna Sammy looks like he may be on the cusp of winning, and we're probably gonna get like a referee. Well, depending on what the match stipulation is gonna be, it looks like there's probably gonna be like knockout ref moments, so Solo and Jimmy can come in.
Jimmy's not allowed in Canada.
Oh yeah, shit. Never mind. Okay, never mind.
It'll be like,
yeah, that's right. The Usos are not allowed in Canada.
Jay is.
Jay's going to be given a test, just like Sammy was, and this time Jay's going to pass the test. and that's going to turn the crowd into the only match for the title that Sammy was ever going to get was
Is a tag team.
Montreal.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
was
Now I'll
Montreal.
change. I'll change it. I'll change this. It's going to be just Solo. Take Jimmy out. Is going to be the one that's like Sammy's looked like he may be on the verge of winning the title. Solo will come out. We may even have Sammy get the visual pin on Roman, and then Solo will probably come out and like start attacking Sammy. And we have Jay coming in, look like he's probably going to come in for the save. And then that's when you're going to get the turn. We're probably not even going to see Jay until Elimination Chamber. Yes, they have the SmackDown Tag Title match next week, but they'll probably just have Jimmy and Solo. I don't think we're going to see Jay until Elimination Chamber. Just to egg on, because people are chanting, we want Jay. And I just think the more we're not going to see him on regular WWE television is just adding on to that suspense. Come on, where is he? We want Jay. And then when we finally get him, we're going to get that huge pop of Jay. Look like he's going to come in and save Sammy. And then that's when you're going to get that test, and he's going to super kick, and they're all going to just eat Sammy alive at Montreal.
Interesting. This is absolutely going to dominate the next.
This really did turn into Elimination Chamber prediction show.
Well, hey, given the amount of hype that's around Sammy right now, it totally makes sense. But all hype aside, before we go any further, let's get some final beard ratings for Royal Rumble 2023. Champ, you want to kick things off with your beard rating, sir?
Well, it's not goat face. And it's, see, I had a blast with Rumble, but talking back on it now, there was the Alexa Bliss match that fell flat. There was, I was so about the Women's Royal Rumble. And the Pitch Black match, even though I'm a Bray Wyatt fan, didn't deliver. I gotta give it, what's two below goat face?
Classic goatee.
Classic goatee. That's 3. Yep.
Classic goatee.
3 out of 5.
Interesting. All right, Tarek, let's hear yours up next. What do you do it for a beer rating?
Well, the men's Royal Rumble match was actually match of the night for me, because if you actually get me to actually want to go back and watch it again multiple times, then you're doing your job well. And yeah, that was match of the night for me. The women's Royal Rumble match, I actually enjoyed more than Charlie and Brian did. Granted, there was one hiccup that they actually got on camera that looks like they really shouldn't have, and it was like that Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley spot really early on. I think it was either the number 3 or number 4 entrance, and then all of a sudden they just cut to Liv and Rhea messing up one move, and both of them just falling on the ground. I just think, didn't really need to see that. But other than that, it was a very, very entertaining women's Rumble match. Oh, wait, it was Charlie that was more harsh on it than Brian. Brian, you said it was better than you found it more entertaining than the men's one. I didn't, but it was still an entertaining Royal Rumble match, to say the least. I mean, this made Rhea even more of a star than she is now. Pretty much the the whole Wyatt 6 angle, I'll add both those matches together, because that's essentially what it is, because 2 people who are in different matches, but they're in the same angle essentially. It was the low point, but I was partially entertained, and I could just look at Alexa Bliss all day. And the main event, it was a great match between Owens and Roman, but we all were there just for the angle, and just the angle alone was a goat face. Like, it was actually the complete. I love that people are comparing the chair shot to Roman with Sammy to Seth Rollins, but there's one big difference. You don't hear someone screaming no before Roman gets hit in the back with a chair.
Nah, it's what everyone was waiting for.
Instead, everyone was just like, well, yeah, that's what we want to see. Don't be under Roman's thumb anymore. Grab your balls back, Sammy. Grab your balls back. I'm gonna give the show, all in all, a full beard. Not a high full beard or a low full, just straight in the middle, full beard.
All right then. Brian, how about you? What's your score for Royal Rumble?
I'm fluctuating between both of what we've heard so far. If I was just going on wrestling, the in-ring product, it would be a classic OT. But everything that happened outside of the matches, the endings of the Royal Rumbles, we got what we wanted to get out of those Royal Rumbles. The fantastic ending of the men's Royal Rumble, Gunther, the 7 minutes of Gunther and Cody Rhodes, that was fantastic. Loved it.
Can't wait for that match.
The end of the women's Royal Rumble, where it came down to the final three, all deserving in their own right, and the right person won. I enjoyed that. And the angle to end all angles that happened at the end of the night. As I said, quite potentially, this storyline as a whole could go down as the best thing I've ever seen on WWE television. So taking that all into account, I will go a very low full beard. Fluctuating in between, but the angles push it over the top.
I gotta admit, I'm really surprised by these range of scores, because I'm gonna tell you right now, this to me was a goat face. 5 out of 5, excellent show. Yeah, you could point out some things that didn't quite land as properly, but when it comes to a wrestling show, especially the Royal Rumble, I am plenty sports entertained on every single conceivable level. And what landed to me was so good that it overshadows by a wide margin its flaws. So I cannot help but give this thing a 5 out of 5.
That's fair. It is nice to be sports entertained.
And not for nothing, it's very interesting to have a show like this where normally we have some sort of consensus. Now it's scores are all across the board. I think that makes for, let's just say, a show with character. How about that?
I'm actually surprised that it actually got to a 3. I actually thought it was going to just be 4 and up. That was going to be my guess, because just from how it all turned out when we watched the show. But as Charlie put it, us discussing it changed his thoughts on the matter.
Yeah, definitely, because I had a blast. You guys know I had a blast there, but I don't know.
Taking everything into account, it's like, as I said, the in-ring product, it was there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I'm not invested. I wasn't invested in a lot of what they were doing when they were actually in the ring. I was invested in the endings of the Royal Rumbles and the end of the Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns match. Other than that, everything else was just kind of there.
I actually, now just seeing how different ratings were, I want to see where Jeremy lands on this.
Good question. That'll probably be a good question to bring up to him the next time he's able to join us on the show.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, before we head on out of here, we have one more announcement to mention, and that is the results of this year's Royal Rumble game. This year, our number one spot went to past winner and friend of the show, our man Anthony Peterson. He is the winner of the WWE eShop gift card. So congratulations to the winner. Thanks to everyone who came out and filled out and joined in all the fun.
Mr. Stone Cold with the 3-time winner. The 3-time winner.
I think he's the first 3-time winner we've ever had on the Royal Rumble game. No?
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah.
I'm not certain.
So close at number 2. Maybe that earns me a title shot against Charlie.
Has someone won it twice?
I think a couple people have. I think there's been one other person who has. No,
I think
Anthony is the only person. I think he's the only one who's won it multiple times.
Yeah, we'll have to check the old archives. But anyway, it's a
being
ton
the
of
highest
fun
ranked scholar
every single year. Yeah.
Being the highest ranked scholar, does that earn me a title shot, Charlie?
No.
No.
Some things never change.
Dick.
Love you.
And we love you, our listening audience. So now we're going to turn it over to you. What did you think of the Royal Rumble this year? And if you played in our annual Royal Rumble game, how'd you do? We want to hear from you no matter where you are. So drop us a line, YouTube, Facebook, and our personal favorite, the old Twitter machines. Drop us a line and let us know what you think. And of course, for all of our latest discussions, follow us on Twitter. Tarek, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at the Avataric. Subscribe.
And Brian, where can they reach you?
You can reach me being upset that I lost the title, but also happy that Royal Rumble prediction season is over at Atomic Beanpole.
And Charlie, where can they reach you?
You can find me awkwardly agreeing with my rival at the Charlie.
And you can find me at I'm Robbie Rage, entertaining all this madness with a smile on my face. And for all of these social links and more, and for the latest episode uploads and links, check us out in our link tree in the description, wherever you're listening to us or watching us from. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling. Link is in the description. And with that, the road to WrestleMania continues on, and we're going to be there every single step of the way because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all next week as the road to WrestleMania goes on.